8. The tongue and self-revelation. James chapter 3, verses 6 to 12. And the tongue is fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beasts, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea, is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. James chapter 3, verses 6 to 12. In Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16, we have a law against talebearers, that is, gossips. It has no human-imposed required penalty. It is God who punishes us for it. Certainly what James has to say comes under Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16, but it goes much further. Speech, says James, is revelational of man. It tells us what the nature of a person is. When we speak, we reveal ourselves. Speech is a very important fact. Animals can communicate certain things, but they cannot speak. Speech is an attribute limited to man and to angelic and demonic beings. The Supreme Speaker is God, whose speech is always his revelation. To speak is therefore a privilege, and one that must not be lightly used. We are known by what we say as well as what we do. 2 of the 10 Commandments govern speech. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 11. And, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbour. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 20. Obviously, speech is very important to God. It is a communicable attribute which he shares with man. The tongue is revelational of man. Because man is fallen, the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. Our speech reveals what we are, and in fallen man, it reveals the depravity of our being. In fact, James says, the tongue is set on fire of hell, so that it defiles the body and the whole course of nature. Verse 6. James echoes Christ's teaching. Out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. Matthew chapter 12, verse 34. And, out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. Matthew chapter 15, verse 19. All kinds of animals, James continues, are tamed by men. In that era, amazing acts of animal taming existed, and James was aware of them. Verse 7. As against this, James declares, no man has been able to tame the fallen man's tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Verse 8. Man being evil, his tongue is evil. Like a rattlesnake, the tongue of man is full of venom and is ready to strike at any provocation. In verses 9 and 10, James cites the abuse of speech. We bless God, and we curse men made in his image. The same mouth both blesses and curses, and this is very wrong. We play the judge, which is to usurp God's prerogative. In Scripture, to curse is to condemn religiously. It is not normally an individual's prerogative to do so, because we are not God. Then, in verses 11 and 12, James uses some illustrations from the natural world. These echo Matthew chapter 7, verses 16 to 20, which tell us that only a good tree can bear good fruit. James says that a fountain cannot at one and the same time send forth both good water and bitter water. Verse 11. This is an orderly world, and there is a consistency in things. The meaning is that a tongue that lets loose both good and evil must be hypocritical in its pretense to goodness. The heart reveals itself, despite the protective coloration of piety, in its evil expressions. Slips of the tongue are likely to be slips of the heart, revealing the man. A fig tree cannot bear olives, nor a vine figs. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Verse 12. Again, we have an echo of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 7, verses 16 to 20. Speech is revelational, and we had better recognize it as such. What James gives us is more than a warning against gossip. Rather, he tells us to examine ourselves, or our speech, because it reveals to others what we are. The Renaissance was an aggressive, immoral, and degenerate era on the whole, and this was made manifest in its gross, foul speech. John Calvin was unusual in the plainness and cleanness of his writings. Vituperative language was common on all sides. It is an interesting thing to study other religions, because, before imitations of biblical faith came into vogue, there were no written revelations. Speech was not highly regarded in such religions. Many looked to dice, bones, strange natural events, and the like for hints from the spirit world or from the gods. If oracles spoke, it was in strange and incoherent ways. In the Bible, the prophet speaks, and he gives to man a word from God, a plain word such as, "Thou art the man," 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 7. Because God is totally self-conscious, perfect in all his being, and without any darkness in his, quote, mind, end quote, or nature, his speech is clear and unequivocal. Failure to understand is due to our blindness and deafness, not his word. Whenever Christianity is faithful and strong, it creates a culture which stresses and gives clarity to the word, written and spoken. It honors and purifies speech. Too commonly, in apostate or fallen cultures, speech is a tool of aggression, not communication or community. Speech and writing are used to propagandize and to deceive, not to enlighten. Perjury becomes a common practice, and men like Nietzsche declare that a lie is often more useful than the truth. What James is telling us involves more than disapproval of gossip or bad language. We are told that language reveals our nature to both God and to man. We are warned that speech tells everyone what our professions of the faith are worth. Our speech betrays us. The tongue cannot be tamed unless the person is tamed and made a new creation by Christ. The tongue reveals what we are and to whom we belong.